We get the latest on Donald Trump's trial. Stormy Daniels is set to retake the stand in New York, and it's all but certain to be Trump's only trial before November after ruling in his favor in the Georgia election interference case. Aaron Katersky is at the courthouse in downtown Manhattan. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. Stormy Daniels is back on the witness stand for more cross-examination in what is the only active criminal case the former president is facing. This morning, Donald Trump returns to his criminal trial in New York after a legal victory in Georgia that could push his election interference case in Atlanta well past November. A Georgia appeals court agreed to hear Trump's argument that Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis should be disqualified over her romance with her former special prosecutor Nathan Wade. Willis had strongly defended herself.
You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Judge Scott McAfee ruled Willis could stay if Wade resigned, which he did, and he recently spoke to ABC's Lindsay Davis about it.
Do you think that you've done any kind of damage to this case?
None at all.
But now the appeals court will consider Trump's claim that Willis should go too, almost certainly delaying any trial past the election. Trump's trial over his handling of classified documents is indefinitely postponed. Judge Aileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, has spent months considering legal questions without ruling on them, and she said she needs more time to resolve myriad and interconnected issues. The New York case charging Trump with falsifying business records tied to a 2016 hush payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels may be the only one that reaches a verdict before the election. Daniels testified in explicit detail about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump that he said never happened, down to the silk or satin pajamas she said he wore and the imbalance of power she said existed between them. We won't see any pictures of Donald Trump in the courtroom. The judge kicked out the photographers, but he is there with Stormy Daniels as her cross-examination now continues for a second day. George?
Hey, Aaron, thank you. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Let's start with Georgia. Almost certain that this will not take place now before November. What does it mean for Fani Willis?
Well, look, I don't think that the Georgia Court of Appeals is ultimately going to decide that she ought to be disqualified, right? Remember, we're just talking about the Georgia Court of Appeals deciding to hear the case. But I think even that is a little controversial, right? I mean, look, I've been very critical of Fani Willis and some of what she's done here. That doesn't necessarily mean that the legal level of disqualification has been met. And I think that this judge actually issued a pretty tough decision on Fani Willis. The fact that the appeals court is considering an even tougher one, I think is surprising, although not shocking. But in the end, I would be very surprised if the appeals court or another appellate court were to rule that she actually gets disqualified from the case.
How about the classified documents case? Judge Cannon has made a series of rulings in Trump's favor, clearly delaying the case. Does the special prosecutor have grounds to try to remove her?
The special prosecutor could try. The standard is so high to remove a judge from a case that I don't even think he's going to try. Now, he might reach the point where he says, I'm so frustrated. But remember, just being a bad judge doesn't get you disqualified. Just being a wrong judge doesn't get you disqualified. Appellate courts reverse judges all the time who were wrong or bad. The level to get a judge disqualified is so high that I think even Jack Smith is going to recognize the cost of that with this judge is probably not worth the tiny chance that he could actually get her dismissed.
Cross-examination of Stormy Daniels today. What do you expect?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They've got a lot of fodder to go after. She's been inconsistent in her accounts of exactly what happened. She's got a lot of animus against Donald Trump. She's had lawsuits with Donald Trump. There's a lot of material there for them to go over. And, you know, I think that she is going to certainly be a wounded witness by the time that they finish with it.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much.